and so it is.
All right. So, you got the download from Angela. Read your bulletin. Tell me what I just said. Read your bulletin. And keep it someplace handy. And, above, past the food tables, and I guess there's 3 food tables, so we really are going to need help with eating all the food that everybody brought today. But just past there is an activity sign-up table where you can sign up for the Oktoberfest, October 9th. And there's a whole bunch of things that are happening just in the next couple weeks that you might want to look at. They're listed up there, as well as in your bulletin, and as well as in the e-newsletter. So we appreciate that. Several people are working very hard to still get this new home together. Mary and Fran built that beautiful media station. We are so grateful to them. And Denny and Bill Ralston were here, and Bill brought peace to my mind because, as you know, the toilets were not working last week. And we had plumber, septic tank plumber, and then Bill with the brain to figure it out and get it fixed correctly. So I so appreciate Bill Ralston. And Todd Smith has been here quite a bit trying to get the sound working, so we'd like some feedback, especially the people who have hearing aids, about how the sound is working. I really appreciate all Todd's time and contributions. And let's see who else here. Paula and Steve painstakingly labeled our bulletin boards, which are in the hallways near the working restrooms. And Pat Bennett for always giving us her time. There's a basket for $4 for Unity Ministers Education out on the greeters table. If you missed it like last week, like I did, the basket's there, and I've put in my 4. And let's see what else. Thank you for everybody who contributed to the Grow in Unity continued growth journey, those who wrote different sections last week, and those new people who came to find out about what it is and what we're about. And we had a board training yesterday with Reverend Charlene Manuel that was over-the-top excellent, and your board members spent all day sitting, basically, and learning. So we really appreciate them. Thank you. And let's just see here. We are going to have a visioning session, so really mark that on your bulletins. I know there's a lot of people who can't wait to get their rakes and their hands in the dirt, and we need your help. There's also a leadership training this month, so look at that. And there's also a tea and cookies with the ministers. So there's many of you that I don't know, and so this is an opportunity on October 14th at, I believe, 1 to 2:30, where 6 or 7 of us can sit down and talk a little bit about our life story, so I get to know who you are. And now for Armand and Angelina. Armand is an award-winning songwriter and inspirational speaker whose enthusiastic presence inspires us all to love life passionately. And Angelina's angelic and heart-opening voice draws from many languages. She's classically trained at Indiana University and was formerly with Epcot Center. And they are international performers. They have lots of stories and humor, and so let us open our hearts and our minds, and they're going to remind us that we were meant to express heaven on earth.
Thank you.
Let's welcome Armand and Angelina.
Reverend Marge, you got some explaining to do. We are so happy to be back. We've been coming here for about 6 years, and wow, what a beautiful difference, a huge number of people that are here today. We are excited. Raise your hand if you are seeing us for the very first time today. So about half of you, that's amazing. Even though we were with this church a year and a half ago, that's how much change and excitement is going on. So for you folks that are here for the first time, please give Reverend Marge a second chance and come back again. I get nervous if somebody's very first time is with us. Well, today our message is healthy relationship an oxymoron? Has anyone ever felt that way before? But one of the reasons it feels like an oxymoron is because shows like I Love Lucy were what we grew up with as an example of what relationship was all about. And it was all about power struggle, dishonesty, and manipulation. Right? And so we didn't get too many great messages. You know, oxymorons, those are those words that go together that don't really go together, like jumbo shrimp. Patiently waiting. Constructive criticism. However, a healthy relationship is not an oxymoron. And hopefully in the next few minutes, we're going to share some ideas that we have used in relationship, in all relationships. Now, most of us believe that people just show up into our lives and we get to decide if we like them or not. But what really happens is we attract people to show up in our lives. Now, there's good news and not so good news. The good news is we attract people to show up in our lives that mirror back to us our most wonderful qualities. Can I get an amen on that? Here's the not so good news. We attract people into our lives to mirror back parts of us that we have not healed. Amen. Now, they are divine appointments, just like the others are, but they're not as fun. Oftentimes, they will be a family member that knows where all of our buttons are and gets such great joy in pushing them. They too are our healer and our teacher. Okay? You know what they call a family reunion? That's when you show up with a covered dish and an unresolved resentment. But there are many tools, and to me, the first tool that I learned that really helped me in all of my relationships the most was the idea that I needed to become a vibrational match to that which I desired. See, I kept trying to find the people in my life that would see the Christ in me when I didn't see it in me. And that may be okay to surround yourself with those kinds of people. But ultimately, you are going to attract those that see in you what you see in you. Now, we already know that there's nothing we can do to become unlovable. That's impossible. But that doesn't matter often as much as it matters if we believe we're unlovable. If we believe that we're not a beautiful, innocent child of God. And if we have that belief system, then we will attract that to mirror back. It's like this. Imagine you're walking around with a projector on your head all the time. And then you project your image of yourself onto a person and you go, wow, I don't really like the way I look in that person right now. Must be them. And then you go over here and you do it again. You go, oh my God, I don't like the way that looks there either. It must be them. And you keep running around realizing that it's your own image of yourself that you're putting onto other people and then not liking what you see. So when I first realized that the common denominator in all of my dysfunctional relationships was me, it was very painful, but it was also very empowering. Because once I recognized it was me, I could do something about it. And I started realizing that attraction, the law of attraction, made it very clear that I was going to attract the mirrors in my life that reflected what I believed in my unconscious mind. Now you might say, well, how do we get to our unconscious mind? That's the challenging part. It's easy to get into our conscious mind. Boom. I desire abundance. I am a holy child of God. Who all says that? Doesn't that feel great? I deserve to be a millionaire. Raise your hand if you believe you deserve to be a millionaire. That's your conscious mind. Your unconscious mind might have fear and lack and believe that you don't, and that will show up. So our job is to look at what's showing up in our lives and change our vibration so we change our mirrors. You wouldn't walk in front of a mirror and go, I don't like the way I look in that mirror, I'm going to break that mirror. But we have done that in relationship. I don't like the way I'm looking in that mirror, I'm going to go find another mirror. So many years ago, I was studying the Course in Miracles. And the Course in Miracles says it very clearly. It says, the holy relationship is the God relationship, is the unconditional love relationship. And the special relationship is the ego relationship. Any Course in Miracles students? So that's pretty simple. Now, I had become an absolute master of the special ego-based relationship. And you can tell how they work. They're usually great in the beginning, and then they end, and there's usually a lot of chaos and drama if you're dealing with a special relationship. Where the love relationship, the holy relationship, will be loving someone without needing anything in return. And when you do that, you don't have disappointment, you don't have resentment, because you're giving in that unconditional love. They also talk about that in a wonderful book called Real Love by Dr. Greg Bear. He says, if you're loving someone, you need nothing back from them. If you give somebody an unconditional gift and they don't thank you and you're bothered by it, you didn't give them a gift. You gave them something with a string attached to it. And when they didn't fulfill what you needed them to fulfill when you gave them that gift, you didn't feel good. Abraham Hicks, probably familiar with that, those entities, says it very simply. Your emotions are like your GPS. Your emotions will let you know if your beliefs are in alignment with your God self. If you want somebody to do something and they don't do it and you feel bad, that's awesome. That's your GPS saying, guess what? You had an expectation. You're supposed to feel bad when you have an expectation, to let you know not to have expectations. And when you give unconditionally, and no matter what the person does in return, you feel good, part of you goes, I shouldn't feel so good right now. They weren't very kind. They weren't very appreciative, but I feel good. That lets you know that a part of you did what you did unconditionally, okay? Your emotional guidance system will always let you know exactly where you are, if you're in vibration with who you really are, and if you're not in vibration with who you really are. So, I was getting better and better at relationships. I was practicing my tools. The challenge for me was I still had a belief system that I did not deserve to have people in my life that would stay with me consistently for over 2 or 3 years. No work relationship, no friend relationship. There was always some kind of chaos. Now, I could tell you where in my childhood that 2 to 3 year thing happened. I could tell you exactly when I got the virus. But guess who watered those seeds that were planted for 40 years? It was me. Again, we can hold accountable our past for where we got the imprints. But we are the ones that have the power and the responsibility to stop watering those old belief systems. So I started to do more affirmations. I started to imagine my life in committed relationships. I started to sing songs about it. I started to speak about it. I started to hang out with other couples that were in committed relationships. I started to hang out with people that had long-term, loving, non-dramatic. I have an inner drama queen inside of me. I know it. And when she runs the show, it's chaotic. But I learned to not let her, I call her, him, whatever, run the show. She just wants excitement inside of me. So, things got better all the time, but I was still having challenges in the romantic department. And so I wrote a love song, and I said, I'm going to write this love song from a holy perspective. It's not going to have anything about, I can't live without you, okay? You're the only one for me. What took you so long? It's not going to be the victim. You know, most love songs, if you listen to them, are victim love songs. They are not empowering, and we all relate to them because there's a part of us that likes being a victim. But it didn't work for me. So I decided I'm going to write a holy love song. And then about 2 years after I wrote the song, I sang at Angelina's church and spoke at her church in Orlando. And we became very good friends. And after about 4 months, how many people saw The Secret? Do you remember in The Secret, there was one of the gentlemen, I forget what his name was, John Azaroff, I think is actually his name. And one day he was living in a house and he found this old dream board that he had made. And he saw his house on the dream board. He goes, oh my God, I'm living in that house. He had forgotten all about it. Well, that's what happened to me. One day I was looking at Angelina and I went, that's the girl I wrote the song about 2 years ago. So I invited her to sing it with me. I said, Angelina, this is our song. God gave me this song. It's all about the holy relationship. And I really believe in my heart for the first time in my life that I can have a holy relationship with you. I would like to give it my best, and I would like to invite you to sing this rock song as a rock ballad duet. And here's what she said. So awesome.
I said, no way. Because I can't do rock and roll. I love listening to it, but I don't have it in any cell of my body. I can't sing it, I can't play it on guitar. So I told Armand, you are definitely on your own on this song.
And when I first heard that, my little inner drama queen, I named her Mabel. Mabel was like, oh no, you didn't. And then I thought, wait a second. The healthy relationship is not where I get the people in my life to do what I want them to do so I will feel better. Who's ever tried that? How's that working for you? When anybody gets upset with anybody about anything they did, it's not because of what they did. It's because they inconvenienced you. When you get upset, you inconvenienced me. I need to feel better. I need you to be a certain way so I can feel better. That is absolute relationship insanity. So I thought, wait a second, let's practice these things. I do not need Angelina to do what I ask. That would not be a holy relationship. That would be an awesome relationship, but that would not be a holy relationship. The holy relationship is where she gets to be fully self-expressed. I get to be fully self-expressed, and we find a way to weave that together.
So I added Italian lyrics to his rock ballad.